Good evening. It's Vijay here. Today is Sunday evening of 26th October 2025. Welcome to Reflections on the Week Ahead and also on what happened last week. We believe that the next week is going to be a turning point in the global markets and probably even in the Indian markets. So let us try to understand as to why we believe that it could be a turning point. So let's go back last week. Last week was a holiday shortened week, and we had only 3 days, but the markets overall closed better for the fourth consecutive week. Though on Friday it looked very bad, primarily because on Thursday there were some rumors that there will be a deal by the end of the week where Mr. Modi and Trump were supposed to meet, but that did not happen. So all the euphoria got wiped out on Thursday, and on Friday the market continued to sell off. However, the FIs continued to buy. In the week, there have been net buyers. They also reduced their outstanding short positions. They were at one time 93%, close to 93% short on the Nifty futures. Now they are only about 75% short. Normally, I've observed anything above 75 is bullish for the markets, below 75 becomes the equilibrium. And around 50% long and short, if the ratio is there, then it is actually bearish for the market. This is what my general observation has been. However, we are now at almost the equilibrium point. We also saw that lots of results came. Large companies like Reliance, ICICI Bank, and HDFC Bank results came. They did not really perform well, whatever the results may be. Personally, I felt none of the results were good. And Kotak Bank results have come over the weekend. They are not that good. So we may have a tricky week when we start on Monday. One other good thing which we noticed last week was while it did not cross and close above, it did cross, the Nifty did cross 26,000. Bank Nifty made an all time high. Metal Index made an all time high. But the Nifty did not close above 26,000. Now, in history, if you look at last September, there was only 1 week when the market closed, when the Nifty closed above 26,000. The prior week to that, the Nifty had closed about 25,790. On Friday, Nifty has closed at 25,795, which means this is the second best closing week of all time. So it is not something one has to, just ignore it. So that is something we need to look as far as Indian markets are concerned. Now, globally, what happened? European markets were volatile. US markets continued to do well. Standard and Poor and Nasdaq continued to hit new highs, and we also saw that oil rose over the last 3 days because US threatened India with more sanctions if they do not stop buying oil from Russia, and it looks like Reliance Industries has complied with it because they already they sanctioned Nayara Energy, where Reliance used to procure quite a bit of oil from. There are also talks that China has stopped buying oil, which I doubt very much. But nevertheless, the mood in the global market, especially in the US markets, was very, very positive. Precious metals were range bound. So this week they may either break out or break down. We don't know, but that's where we are. So next week we are having lots of results. About 300 companies are reporting their results. You have ITC, Coal India, TVS Motors, L&T, and many other companies were reporting results. Apart from that 300 companies, India specific, we have IIP data and also fiscal deficit data coming up during the week, which could be positive or negative as the case may be. But I suspect when we go into it's also the weekly and the monthly settlement on Tuesday for Nifty. So that may actually be an impetus for the market to go up rather than go down unless something bad happens tomorrow, because you see we are standing at the peak of the settlement. Normally when the market is at the high of the settlement on the prior week to the settlement, so generally the settlement week is firm, which means prior week is what happened on Friday. Though Friday was down, but the week was 4 weeks in a row we were up. So one should expect logically that the next week also should be a good week for the bulls, though they have been battered in the last 2 days. Now, Next week, there are three central banking decisions. One is by Bank of England. I think they will reduce. They will not reduce their interest rate. They will keep it at 4% steady. Japan, Bank of Japan is having their interest rate on Wednesday. The UK Bank has got on Friday, I think, or Thursday. So Bank of Japan also is unlikely to increase interest rates. Their inflation is going up, but sooner or later they'll have to do something about it. But the new PM who has come in, I think, is more interested in reducing interest rates and pumping money, because she's a follower of Prime Minister Abe, who believed in having a very loose monetary policy. So whatever it is, the Bank of Japan may or may not listen to the new political leadership, and but current conditions makes me feel that they're unlikely to raise interest rates, which they should be raising. Now coming to Fed. Now Fed is one entity where everybody knows that they will reduce interest rates by 25 basis points. I think the Fed interest rate is on Wednesday evening, and which we will get affected on Thursday. Most people are looking at the reduction of interest rates, but I'm looking at something more than that. I'm saying that Fed has started its quantitative tightening a couple of years ago, where they were reducing the size of the balance sheet, which had gone up to about 9 trillion some time ago. After the COVID, it had gone to 9 trillion. Compare this with 750 billion was the Fed's balance sheet before they started quantitative easing in 2008. So in 750 billion, 800 billion was the size before the first quantitative easing started in 2008. Subsequently, they did some quantitative tightening, they reduced something, but after the COVID, they increased the balance sheet significantly, close to about 9.5 crores, 9.5 trillion, and now they have been reducing it. I think it's come to around 7 trillion. Now they're stopping it. Now, what is the significance of this is the moment they stop quantitative tightening, the next thing which they generally do is quantitative easing. Quantitative easing will happen after the interest rates cut happen and they don't, show any improvement, which is what is likely to happen, because once the interest rates are cut, people believe that the economy will do well. But the way things are, I don't think the economy will do well. In fact, the US is having this shutdown of the government. This is the longest shutdown for a very long time. 24, 27 days are over, and there seems to be no sign of any breakdown, any breakthrough in the talks between the Democrats and the Republicans. So we should expect this shutdown to continue for some more time. But once they stop quantitative tightening, look forward to quantitative easing, which means, as it is, the risk assets are exploding across the board. If you start quantitative easing, God help, I mean, risk assets will go up, which means the US stock market will certainly go up maybe another 20% from here. I won't be surprised. Or it may enter into a total bubble with a parabolic move. Hopefully, India will get some of the money. Last time, I thought when interest rates were being reduced in US, India will get some money, but it has not happened. Who knows? We may be second time lucky, but I'm fairly certain that the US stock markets will go to the sky. That is inevitable, because everybody knows easy money is coming and markets love easy money. So that is what one has to observe, and that is what one it may happen. So it could be a turning point in the global markets, because more money may come to emerging markets like India. Then finally, we have the US China meeting scheduled for 30th, Thursday. As it is, they had the finance ministers meeting, and today Mr. Besant says, the Treasury Secretary says that there will be no 100% tariff from November 1st, because a deal has been struck. Finally, the deal will be signed by President Xi and President Trump. However, in the past, many such messages were sent earlier and then it did not work out. However, we may this time it may be different, as they say. So let us keep our fingers crossed and hope things get okay. But what this is only the 100% tariff, which was supposed to come from November 1st, will go, primarily because China has apparently agreed that they will buy some soya beans from US, which they had stopped, and also rare earth exports. They will defer it. the clamp down on rare earth exports, they'll defer it by a year. If these two things are there, the US says that we will remove the 100%, but we will still have that 55% or whatever tariff was there before. They've still not imposed it fully, so they may defer that also, is what the talk is all about. Right now, there is a lot of exuberance as far as the American delegation is concerned, but we have not heard anything significant from Chinese delegation. So we will know it only on Thursday. Till now, China, Trump must be going around talking about that deal, this deal. But the biggest deal this week will have to be the China-US deal. If that goes through, then that will be the turning point, which will add more fuel to the fire as far as the bulls are concerned, and we should see significantly higher numbers by the end of the week for the US, and hopefully some of it will rub off on India. So we are, as usual, cautiously bullish. We are not overtly bullish. We will continue to buy on declines. Last week we were very cautious, yet we lost some money in day trading. But in the shares which we have bought for Muhurat, for instance, all the metal stocks did well. I can expect metal stocks to continue to do well. We are now taking a more defensive stance as far as Indian market is concerned, unless we see some breakthrough coming globally. If it happens, then we will also become more aggressive. Right now, we are defensive, but in good stocks. So, but we are not bearish. So, whatever it is, we are positive. Something good will happen next week. The turning point will be in the positive side and not on the negative side. So, have a good weekend, and whatever you do, I hope it is successful. Thank you for joining me.